Monsters University is the brand new film from Disney Pixar. It is also the prequel to 2001's much beloved and rightfully so, Monsters Inc. Once again, we follow the characters of Mike Wazowski, that's the green one with the one eye, voiced by Billy Crystal, and James P. Sullivan, aka Sully, which is the big blue furry one with the horns and the claws, voiced by John Goodman. As the title suggests, the film follows both Mike and Sully during their scholarly pursuits at Monsters University. They are both enrolled in the SCARE program, although they both take very different tacts. Sully is lazy, happy-go-lucky, and really just has no time for study. He just has time to hang out and just be cool. He is the cool kid of Monsters University, whereas Mike is the more studious, more hard-working, sort of ambitious underdog, as it were, because obviously he doesn't have the stature and the physique of a very scary monster. He is, after all, a little green thing with one eye, so he has to work doubly hard to get his scare on, and the two clash in personality and methods and quickly become rivals. But of course, we all know, as from seeing in Monsters Inc., that rivalry leads to the two of them being best friends. We know the destination. The destination is not what is important with Monsters University. It is the journey. And the journey that this film takes is one that is filled with sweetness, charm, and so much humour. A lot of people have poo-pooed Monsters University, and they've given it a bit of a lukewarm reception. In fact, some people have even said that the golden era of Pixar is now over. I couldn't disagree any harder, because I genuinely really, really love this film. The bit of rivalry that exists between Mike and Sully kind of manifests itself to the point where they both find themselves kicked off the SCARE program, which, of course, is a pretty big obstacle in the way of them reaching their dreams of becoming scarers at Monsters Inc. However, as always, there is a loophole for them to get back onto the course if they can compete and successfully win the Scare Games, which is like the Olympics for scaring and scary monsters. Then they can get back onto the program and carry on towards their dreams. However, to do this, to win the tournament, to get the glory and to get back on track, they have to work together as a team, not only with one another, but with a sort of haphazard, lackluster fraternity called Uzma Kappa, which is full of sort of outcasts and oddities. I think it's at this point that people will either find themselves on board with the film or they will begin to drift away from what Monsters University delivers, because essentially what happens from here is that you have a Disney Pixar reimagining of Revenge of the Nerds, essentially. And for me, I generally really loved it, and there is a lot of great humour that comes from that. A lot of satirical humour, a lot of tongue-in-cheek jabs, but there's also a lot of companionship, a lot of friendship, and there's a real sort of charming, sweet demeanour, not only between the characters of Mike and Sully, whose chemistry is fantastic, even if it in its most bitter, raw format, so it's more loving, appreciative stages, but just in general there is a real feel-good factor to the film, and it comes from the sort of companionship of underdogs and outcasts. And for me, that is a real melting point of where the humour and the sweetness that you've come to expect from great Pixar films sort of really merges within Monsters University. It also gives the film the chance to open itself up and create some really interesting and memorable characters. Whether it be Art, the sort of furry two-legged purple thing who has some of the best one-liners in the film, or whether it be Squishy, who is just this adorable sort of multi-eyed underachieving kid who lives with his mum. There's just so many fine points to the characters that are brought to life, and again, as you would expect in a Pixar film, the voice acting is fantastic. I generally really liked it, and I kind of failed to see why it's disappointed so many people, because to me it's on a par with the original Monsters Inc. Granted, it might not have the uber cuteness of Boo, but it has plenty to sustain itself and to kind of deliver all of the goods that you would hope it would. Really funny, really sweet, really charming, just an absolute joy to watch. Monsters University, you have warmed my heart, and for that I'm going to give you an 8.